Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you may be. This is By Hook or By Needles, and I am Sam. Today I'm going to show you something called the rocking stitch, or also I think better known as the Trinity Stitch. Now, excuse me. It is a stitch which consists of a lot of single crochets or double crochet in the UK, which are joined together as a decrease. Once again, though, you're not actually decreasing because two of the stitches on either side are being worked into the same previous stitch, which reduces the actual decrease. It counteracts the decrease because you're actually working into the same stitch with two stitches rather than one. Okay, so it's any even number, so I have already done a chain of 16. You're using one as to get your height, and the beginning and the end is only a 2 single crochet together, not a triple single crochet together. Okay, so that's probably the only thing you really need to keep in mind. Normally I would use my 4mm hook. I'll just leave that there for you so you can take a screenshot, but I'll also include a photo probably, I think, at the beginning or end of the video. I'm not really sure where it'll end up. Lost my train of thought, sorry. Yep, so then I got so I decided to use the 5mm hook, and the reason being is because I found the stitches when doing this were very hard to get into, some of the stitches. Now that part of that would be my tension, obviously, but another part of that would also be the just the tightness of the chain to begin with. So where do we start? We've got we start in a second back bump from the hook, and we go in as if we are going to do a single crochet, but we do not complete it. Then we go to the next back bump, we pull up another loop. We now have 3 loops on the hook, 2 of which are partial single crochets, and we pull through all 3, and then we do a chain 1. Now, as I said just previously, we are now going to go back into that stitch that we've already worked into. We're going to pick up a loop, then we're going to go to the next back bump, pick up a loop, and finally into the next back bump to pick up a loop. So we now have 3 partial single crochets and our loop from our previous chain. We pull through all 3 and we chain 1. Okay, and we go into that stitch we've already worked into, and then into the next 2, pulling up stitches or loops, pull through all 4 and chain 1. 1, 2, 3, 3, pull through, chain 1. Now when you look at this, it's going to be a little bit backward to what you think it is when you come to work in the opposite direction, and I'll show you what I mean when we get there. So we go into that loop, pull up a stitch, pull up, that's 3, yarn over, pull through 4, chain 1, into the loop, pull up 1, into the next, pull up 1, and into the next, pull up 1, and we're going to pull through all 3, and then we're going to do another chain 1, pull up a loop, pull up a loop. This time it's just a 2 single crochet together, pull through, and we're chaining 1. Now if we look at this, we've got a gap there, we've got a stitch there, and a stitch there. This stitch here actually belongs to the chain 1. This stitch belongs, scratch that, reverse it. This stitch belongs to the chain 3, the 3 single crochet together, and this one belongs to the chain 1. So when you turn it around, you need to rather awkwardly, because that's the chain 1, you need to go into that stitch and pull up your first loop. Then we go into the next and pull up a loop, and that's our 2 single crochet together, pull through 2, chain 1, go into that stitch which we've already worked into, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch. And if you turn it around like this, you can actually see the V's, and I think that just makes it a little bit easier to work out where you've got to go. I'm going to go in there, pull up a loop, and we're going to go into there and pull up another loop. Yarn over and pull through all 3, chain 1. And again, back into the gap or the space stitch, whichever you want to call it, that we've already worked into, to pull up a loop. Then we're going to go into the 3 single crochets together. I'm going to pull up a loop. We're going to go into the next space and pull up a loop and pull through. As you can see, it's a little bit easier to see because I am using a bigger hook. That's one of the reasons I wanted to use the bigger hook. So we go into the stitch, pull up a loop, into the 3 single crochet together, stitch and pull up a loop, and then into the chain 1 space, pull up a loop, pull through all 3, chain 1, last stitch, chain, going back into the stitch we previously used, then into the 2 double crochet together, single crochet together, pull up a loop, pull through and chain. This front part is very tricky because you've got to go straight into that first slot to pull up a loop. This is your chain 1, pull up a loop, pull through and chain 1. Chain 1 space, 3 single crochet together space, stitch, and then I chain 1 space again, pull through all 3. I think the most important thing here seems to be, try and be consistent with your tension. You don't want to go tight and loose, tight and loose. You also want to, because you want to make this stitch here as easy as possible to get into. I've noticed some of mine are easier than others, so I certainly need to work on that in order to complete this stitch more suitably or more perfectly. No, more precisely, that's the word. Okay, into the space we've already worked, but certainly I'm finding it a lot easier with a bigger hook, because I did try this with a smaller hook. I'm also finding this a lot easier by turning my work to find the top of my stitches. It's very hard to, always find those stitches when they're at the back of your work, basically, which is what they are here. If you look at it from here, they are sort of at the back of the work. By turning, you can see them much more clearly in order to get your hook into them and pull up the thread that you need to pull through. Well, excuse me, my voice is going. Pull through all 4 single crochet, single chain, sorry, into the space, pull up a loop, pull up a loop, into the last chain space, no, excuse me, pull through all 4, chain 1, and our last stitch, pull up a loop in the same stitch, and then we go to the last chain, 2 single crochet together, because that's not a triple, that's just 1. Okay, I can see why it's called Trinity Stitch, because it is 3 in 1. Yeah, I don't know what I think of it. It seems to be not necessarily exactly reversible, but it does look very similar on both sides. So even though it might not be spot on reversible, it's attractive on both sides. So it could once again be used, for a scarf or anything that you want that's reversible. So there we go. That is the rocking stitch, or the Trinity Stitch, whichever you would like to label it as. I hope you're able to follow along with that. It was a little bit tricky, but I think we got there in the end, and hopefully you're able to follow along. If you have any questions or queries, please feel free to ask in the comments below, and I will get back to you and try and help you. Once again, please, if you've enjoyed the content, give me a like. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Every little bit helps me just sort of build the channel. Alright, thanks very much for your attention, and we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.